I'm here with my good friend, Barbara Caine. She is a serial mompreneur, and she's excited. We're excited about talking today about time management. She has mastered the art of helping other people get a lot more accomplished with a lot less stress in their life. So Barbara, we're going to talk today about this concept. Tell me, I want to ask you this. What is a serial mompreneur, first of all?
So I call myself a serial mompreneur because I have lots of kids and lots of businesses. However, I'm always a mom first.
Right.
My kids are now teenagers, and so that brings its own set of challenges. And my businesses are technically teenagers at this point too.
I guess, and you've got several businesses as it is right now. One about time management. What do you do with that?
So the time management one, I originally learned that I was good at time management when friends would come to me and say things like, I need to get on your calendar so you'd come spend time with me. And then my kids' friends' parents would say things like, you're everywhere I go. I see you on social media. I see you at all the ball games. You're always doing things and you're never stressed out. Mm-hmm. So I learned I was good at time management, and I teach that in my Fuse business training business.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me about Fuse. What is that about?
So Fuse is a company that helps entrepreneurs with training, coaching, and accountability.
Okay.
So we help businesses to move further in their career. Whether they're just getting started or already very successful, we help get them to that next level.
That's awesome. And time is one of those things that we have to really value. We only get 24 hours in our day. Everybody gets the same 24 hours. What do you teach people to do differently in their 24 hours of their day?
That's a great question. So, as you said, everyone does have the same 24 hours, and those who are more successful actually use their 24 hours differently. Mm-hmm. And I teach a 6-step formula to help people to use their time more effectively. I call it my sprint formula.
Sprint, like running? Or is it, how does that work?
Sort of, and I know it's kind of like a backwards, right? You should slow down, but no, really, I teach you how to get more done with less time by sprinting.
Okay, walk us through it.
Okay, so the S is for schedule. One of the things I tell people is I completely live by my schedule. Everything goes on my schedule. When I eat, when I sleep, even when I have open time that could be scheduled somewhere else, it's all on my schedule. I know that sounds like it would be overwhelming, but it really isn't once you get used to it. Then the P stands for priority. One of the things that I've heard the most with people who seem stressed out because of time is that they never have time to do the things that are important to them. Mm-hmm. Well, there's an easy solution for that. You put what's top priority to you on your schedule first.
Right.
Other things shouldn't be taking precedent over the things that are most important to you in your life. Yeah. So prioritizing and sticking to that. So if you put something on your calendar Monday at 8 a.m. and it's the most important thing to you, and then something else comes up that isn't really that important to you, but you feel like you should do it, you don't have to do that. And so prioritizing and sticking to that.
How do you prioritize that? Explain more about your timing every morning. What is prioritizing? How do you figure that stuff out?
Great question. So the first thing is, let's take, for example, somebody who might say that the most important thing in their life right now is their health and wellness, right? Like they want to get healthier. Maybe someone wants to lose weight or feel better. But then they say, well, I don't have time to go to the gym. I don't have time to eat healthy or meal prep or anything like that.
Everybody says that.
Exactly. So the solution is that if that really is your number one priority, it needs to go on your schedule before everything else.
Okay.
And it needs to stay there, no matter what. Even if you're too tired to work out when that 2 p.m. workout comes, if it's on your schedule at that time, you need to prioritize it and do it.
That's so important. And priorities in our businesses, we have to manage that. So the schedule conflicts come when you have your personal life and your professional life. How do you monitor those as a priority?
Very similar. So I make sure that they're combined, sort of. So even though I am a mom and an entrepreneur, I still only have one schedule. Okay. So my mom stuff, like I said, is top priority for me because my kids are at the age where they need mom a lot. Right. And so mom stuff goes first. Okay. Whether that means getting the kids to school, picking them up from school, making them dinner, all of that stuff that entails being a mom goes on my schedule first.
Right.
And then the business stuff falls into place. So I'm a big advocate of working on your business more than in it. So before I go working for clients, I want to make sure that my business is sustainable so that I can provide the best service for my clients.
Absolutely.
So I put my working on my business time on the calendar before the working in the business.
Okay, so we have the schedule, prioritizing, and what's the rest of it?
Right, so then you have SPR. The R stands for rest. I unfortunately learned this the hard way. I was one of those people who slept for maybe 2 hours per night, if I was lucky, because I was so excited about what I was doing. I loved my work, I loved my kids. I didn't want to sleep. Everything was so exciting. But then I ended up in the hospital and had to have a blood transfusion, and all kinds of bad stuff happened, and it was a result of lack of sleep, for the most part. So one thing I learned is you have to get rest. Not everybody needs a full 8 hours of night. I learned that. My optimal is about 5 hours. Learn what your optimal time is and stick to that.
Okay.
I also learned that I need to take 1 hour naps every single day. So usually right before my kids get home from school, I nap for about 55 minutes to be exact.
Yeah.
And then I get up and I go back and I go get them.
I like the idea of taking 1 nap every hour. How's that sound?
I don't know how productive you'd
Not
be.
quite that much rest, but I understand what you mean. So you're talking about your schedule, prioritizing everything between your business and your personal life, making sure rest is one of those priorities. So then what's the rest of it?
So then the I stands for increments. If you ever have something that you dread doing, the easiest way to do it is to set a timer.
Okay.
For instance, going to the gym. I only know a handful of people who love going to the gym. For the rest of us, just tell yourself you'll do 25 minutes. Work out for 25 minutes, that's it.
Right.
And then you could be done. Imagine if you gave yourself 25 minutes of exercise every day or 3 times a week, what that would do for you.
Oh, so much.
Okay,
Incredible.
When you're working on business stuff, your brain needs time to relax and rest in order to rebuild, just like our muscles. If you work your muscle out for 24 hours a day, it's not going to do much for you because it's going to be too fatigued.
Absolutely.
So it needs its rest in order to rebuild. Our brain needs the same thing. So even when you're working for clients, set a timer, whatever works for you, 25 minutes, 45 minutes, no more than 1 hour. Every hour you should take a break, at least a 2-minute break. And I recommend 5 minutes. It gives you enough time to run to the restroom, get a cup of coffee, see if the kids need anything, pet the dog on the way back to the desk. So, but set increments for yourself because it makes it easier.
That's important, yeah.
And moms out there, I have a really great tip for helping with the housework. I set a timer for my kids, 25 minutes, and I make it a contest because kids love contests. And I say whoever gets the most work done in 25 minutes cleaning the house, then you get to pick dinner for the night. Now, of course, no kid in the house likes the same food, so they all want to pick dinner.
Oh, wow.
And so in 25 minutes, we clean our entire 5-bedroom, 2-bathroom house.
That's miraculous.
Yeah.
That's a miracle. That one's going to go further than anything. So
exactly.
So doing things in increments is important. So when you're scheduling your increments, what's the mindset you want to have when you have clients that say, hey, I need an hour of your time, but you only have a few minutes. You only have maybe 30 minutes. How do you let them know that without brushing them off or making them feel brushed off?
Well, honesty is the first step. And then also because you know your schedule, it's easy to say, well, John, I actually only have 10 minutes right now, but tomorrow I could devote an hour to that. Could this wait until tomorrow? And most times, yes.
Sure.
Now, unless they waited till the last minute for something, which then eventually becomes your urgency.
Yeah.
But that's another thing people need to learn is there's a difference between importance and urgence. And a lot of times we make other people's urgencies what's important to us, and it doesn't have to be the case.
Right. Because our priorities get out of whack.
Exactly.
It goes back to the beginning where we talked about your schedule and your priorities. So very neat how you talked about your schedule, your priorities, and then you talked about your rest and then increments. What's the last two?
So N is for no.
Okay.
No is the smallest and most powerful word in your vocabulary. You'll get lots of opportunities of people saying, oh, you'd be great at this. I think you should do this, or could you do this, or could you volunteer, could you help me? You're gonna get a lot of opportunities like that in your life. No. Practice to say no. Now, I'm not saying say no to everything. What I'm saying to say no to is things that are not in line with your priorities and your goals, and things that are going to make you have to say no to something else. Because remember, for everything that you say yes to, you're saying no to something else. So if I volunteer for, let's say, for the church, What am I saying no to? It doesn't mean that volunteering for the church is an awful thing, but it needs to fit in line with what I'm doing. And if it does, then sure, yes, let me do that. But if right now that's not what's in line with my priorities, then I might have to say, you know what, see me again in a couple months. That might be able to work for me, but right now I have to decline.
So we're going to ask one more question. I've enjoyed so much this opportunity to talk with Barbara and the Fuse Business Training. We're going to ask one more question, and it's a serious question we love asking every entrepreneur that we work with here at the Key Leadership Inc. Barbara, what is one thing that you would love to do, that you would love to tell a brand new entrepreneur getting started in their business today?
Oh, Dan, I love this question. I get asked it a lot. And what I would say is just do it. It sounds like Nike. Nike, send me some money. No, but for real, when I first started out in business, I didn't jump all in. In fact, I didn't even start at all for a long time. I was just creating an idea. In fact, I created a whole business model as a business student in college just for fun because I was a big nerd. And so when I ended up in 2009 on bed rest for 10 months because of a high-risk pregnancy, my husband had said, why don't you just make that a business? That thing that you're always doing with the binders and all that planning you're always doing, why don't you just do that as a business? And I didn't think I could. I had all the excuses in the book of, you know, you can't just start a business that easy. And but I gave it a try because we needed to pay the NIPSCO bill. And so I gave it a try, and the very first week I did so well that I was making more money from my bed than I was working my full-time job.
That's amazing.
So after I had my beautiful baby girl, who ended up being very healthy, and she is now 8 years old, I decided never to look back. I didn't want to work a job anymore. I wanted to be a mommy, and I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I could do both of those things without a job.
Yeah, and really the key word to success is just do it immediately.
Yeah,
it really is right away. Just make the decision and then manage the details later on. And it really does make sense. I'm so thankful that we got to work with you today, Barb. And with the Fuse Business Training, I would recommend taking a look. If you want help and you want to learn better principles in not only time management, but in many different areas of your business, and you're wondering, what do I do? Who should I call? I'd recommend getting a hold of Barb, because the Fuse Business Training has designed and has helped many entrepreneurs on their roadmap and designing the roadmap for their success that they want in their life. And it's possible. Just making the decision now to go and take that step. And thank you so much, Barb. I've enjoyed this opportunity to speak with you today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.